I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World in the Black Business School. And it is a great day. It's a great morning. And I woke up this morning and I saw some interesting things. I always sort of, roll over and look at my phone real quick just to see what's happening in the world. And you guys know I've been really interested and concerned about the response to Dave Chappelle's newest special called Sticks and Stones. If you haven't seen it, Sticks and Stones is probably one of the great comedic performances of all time. It's it's probably I would say Chappelle's best because he's doing what I think comedians are supposed to do, which is really push the envelope on things like free speech and all these other things. I mean, people don't like these sorts of things when we're going through them. They tend to resist, but you end up being on the right side of history because we're supposed to have a free country where people are allowed to say what they're going to say, and every idea that's now considered mainstream, it was once considered radical. It was once considered radical for a gay person to say I'm gay, right? It was once considered radical for women to want to go to work every day, right? So right now it's considered radical for a black man like a Dave Chappelle to be honest about what has sort of happened in American politics lately, which has actually disturbed me. You guys have seen me actually talk about it in terms of things I've been seeing. I'm on the campus scene as a college professor, and I've seen a lot of fascism occurring where you're literally blocking people from having their own opinion, blocking people from expressing themselves, blocking people from being honest, and I think that's the craziest thing in the world. And so anyway, I want to say good morning to everybody and hello to my friends. I see my friend Eton Thomas in there. So Eton, now that I see your name, I got to remember to add you to the wedding invitation list because I'm so bad with names, man. I forget everybody. Even though I love you guys, it's like somebody will come up and be like, "Oh, that's right, that's right." So so just so you know, you and your wife and your family are being invited to my wedding, Eton. So I'm adding you to the list right now. That's how bad it is. That's how bad I have to push myself to remember things. And all of y'all are actually invited because we're gonna have our wedding. If you didn't hear about it, I popped the question to Alicia, Dr. Alicia. She's a doctor of social work, very smart lady, outstanding scholar. And we're going to get married probably in the south side of Chicago next summer. So that's when it's going to happen. And I want to try to make it open, open to the public. I'll probably reach out to the Nation of Islam to provide security because, you can have 99.9% of all the people there that love you, but all it takes is like 0.1% haters to try to mess things up. So that's the plan right now, and I'll keep you guys posted. And I wanted to publicly support or publicly propose to that black woman because I think that for some reason, black women, got pushed to the bottom of the barrel in terms of what people consider to be attractive, and I think that's an absolute crime against humanity because there ain't nothing better than a black woman. Yeah. I agree with you. Eton was a nice player at Syracuse, right? He's a great, but he's even a better husband and father. That's what I respect about him. He's just a good guy. Basketball. I don't think I've ever seen Eton actually play basketball. Believe it or not, I've literally never seen a game that he was in. But I've known him as a friend for many years, and I know him as a human being. I think he's a great guy. So anyway, please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. Also, shout out your city. I see Cincinnati in here. Thank you, Ronell, for your congratulations. Hello, Michael. Good to see you. Thank you, Gail. I appreciate it. And Dave and Lisa and Eddie and Stacks to God and Augusta and Kevin Lockhart and Christine and Derek and everybody else. So let me tell you what's been going on, what got my attention this morning. So I'm reading through Newsweek, and basically the title of this Newsweek article is that Dave Chappelle's Netflix special Sticks and Stones rated low on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, this is a follow-up. Actually, the original story was that Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones documentary or Sticks and Stones special had 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I follow Rotten Tomatoes because I when I go see a movie, I don't want to waste my time, right? So I'm like, let me check Rotten Tomatoes. Let me see what the critics say and what the fans say. And I don't know about y'all. Tell me where you fit, but I don't pay attention to the critics that much, honestly. I think the critics are a bunch of stupid elitist snobs who, overanalyze everything and end up just saying things about the movie that just aren't true, and or they'll take a good movie that's really popular and find some reason to believe that it's bad, like almost like you're like, well, hey, I thought it was good. No, the reason you thought it was good is because you're stupid. You're just not smart enough to know how bad that movie was. You enjoyed it, but you shouldn't have enjoyed it because if you were like me, if you were as cultured as I am, then you would know that that was a very bad movie, right? So I say fuck the critics. Like, I don't pay attention to the critics. I pay attention to what the people say. So if it gets a majority favorable rating from the audience, then I'm like, okay, I think this is our movie. If it gets 50%, I'll be like, okay, we got 50-50 chance we're gonna like it. But if it's black, I assume it's gonna get rated a little bit lower. So even if it's below 50%, I'll still go see a black movie that's rated below 50% if I believe that the movie's gonna be good. And so here's the thing. Here's what really got me about the Netflix or excuse me, the Rotten Tomatoes rating on Sticks and Stones. 0% is pretty terrible. Like 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, if you know the history, 0% means that some group of people, some lynch mob, got together and coordinated an attack against your project. That's a coordinated attack. That ain't random people coming through and just randomly putting their review. That is a group of people who came together and said, let's go fuck his shit up. Let's go and tear his show up so that no one will want to go see it, because we want to control the narrative. We want, and this goes back to what I've always said to you guys. When you're black, you got to understand, black people ain't really got no friends. Y'all think liberals are your allies. Malcolm X warned you about liberal allies. Again, the homework assignment for this week on drboycetv.com, which is the home for intelligent black people, by the way. The homework assignment for this week was, I wanted you guys to go watch the Malcolm X speech on the House Negro and the Field Negro. And in that speech, he talks a lot about liberal allies and how liberal allies have actually watered down and squashed meaningful black movements, how they've actually gone out of their way to co-opt what black people were doing. When black people were really starting to come to their senses and saying, hey, wait a minute, this is fucked up. Wait, why are we living in the gutter and the ghettos and we can't get no jobs, and we can't get ahead, and y'all living good, but y'all telling us we're supposed to be equal now? When that started happening, they basically coordinated and appointed certain Negro managers, not leaders, managers. A leader is somebody who pushes you to be your best, pushes you to be free, pushes you to be honest with yourself about who you are. A manager is just somebody that's there to control you, almost like the way you manage a group of sheep or a group of cattle, like herding cattle, right? And so they appointed Negro managers, and they've always done that. That's how they choose which black people are on TV. If you pay attention in Hollywood, most black people in Hollywood that you see on TV, they all speak from the same script. Am I right or am I right? Has anybody else noticed this? Yes or no? Tell me if you've noticed this, that they all speak from the same script. When it comes to, LGBT issues, same script, same damn script. What was it? Malik Yoba comes out recently. I love trans women. Right, right. Which I'm like, I don't give a shit, man. I don't need to hear that. I don't care who you're fucking. Like, why are you telling me this? Why are you telling me what kind of women you like to have sex? Do y'all ever hear me announce? Do I go out of my way to announce, like, oh yeah, well, let me tell you, last night me and Dr. Alicia, we got it in, yo, and then we did this, and then we did that, and then sometimes though, we like to bring a pet monkey in the bedroom, and the monkey likes to, do the blah blah blah, like I don't do that. I don't really care. I don't care to share with you who I'm sleeping with or why, and I don't think you care to know, right? You don't care. Some of y'all might want to know because some of y'all freaks. but really, that's a personal thing, right? But he goes out of his way to talk about how he loves to sleep with trans women. But then here's the funny part. I think Malik forgot that he's a black man. So right after that happened, the Me Too movement comes after him because then I don't know if any of y'all saw this, but there was a trans woman who wrote a long Facebook post saying, oh, he's just saying this to cover his ass because he's basically like the R. Kelly of the transphobic community, or the transgender community. Has anybody seen that? Where literally the lady was basically saying, when I was a teenager, Malik Yoba paid me to have sex, and that's why he's saying all these things, because he pays underage trans girls to have sex. I don't know if did y'all follow all that? Right now I'm following this, and what's going through my head is, first of all, I'm just like, TMI, like, I don't really, bro, I don't need to know nothing about what you're doing in the bedroom, for real. I don't, that ain't my style. And I agree with, I think Chappelle might have said this, but I don't know. I think that one thing somebody said, I believe it was Chappelle actually, and I agree with him. I like the fact that he said that we have fallen for the false belief that just because I don't agree with your lifestyle, that means I hate you. That just because I don't align with your views of sexuality, that somehow that means I have a phobia of you. A phobia is a fear. And I don't know how many of y'all are scared of gay people. Like, if a gay man walks in a room, how many of y'all are going to be like, I gotta go, right? Like, seriously, how many of y'all have a fear of a gay person? Does anybody have a fear? I don't fear you because of who you're having sex with. I just don't. Maybe if you were like Debo and you like to you like to rape men, then I might back up, right? I might have to get away from your ass. But outside of that, that whole phobia concept is like stupid. And they were really attacking a lot of people in the Black Christian community, which deeply offended me because I'm from that community. I don't go to church. I ain't gonna lie. If you're a church going person, don't just forgive me. I don't know if that means I'm going to hell or what, or I'm a heathen, but I don't go to church. I just don't. It just doesn't work for me. It doesn't do it for me. But I respect it. And they were basically labeling the entire Black community homophobic and all these other things because people were going to church and listening to their pastor and what and coming up with their own interpretation of the Bible. And so next thing you know, it's like, well, you're just as bad as the racists were when they used to lynch and kill Black people. Really, motherfucker? Really? I mean, you really have that little respect for the 400 years of what we've gone through, that you're really going to make that comparison? That a Christian grandma Lois, who goes to church on Sunday with her church hat on, ain't never heard a fly, that because she believes what her pastor tells her about the Bible, or she believes what she read in the Bible, that, marriage is between one man and one woman, whatever she believes, that somehow she's as bad as when the KKK used to get on their horseback in the middle of the night with torches and guns and show up at a Black man's house, pull him out of his house in front of his mother, cut his balls off, hang him from a tree, and then burn his body alive. Are you really trying to make that comparison? You're really trying to compare that now. Like, you're really trying to trigger us by somehow connecting a disagreement with who you're having sex with to thousands, hundreds of thousands of Black people being terrorized and lynched over the last 400 or 500 years. When you start talking like that, that tells me that you're being bossy, over dramatic, that you're being self-absorbed. That's a sign of narcissism. You're a liberal version of a Donald Trump to me. Like, Donald Trump is a narcissist. Donald Trump is like, well, I believe this, and this is what I think, and this is what matters because this is what I believe. Well, the liberals ain't nothing but a bunch of damn little Donald Trumps, because they're out here running around telling you what they think and without any concern for how that makes you feel. If you go out of line, if you say anything that does not agree with their agenda, which is what Chappelle did, that's his crime. That's what brought out the lynch mobs. The lynch mobs went after Chappelle the same way they go after any Black person or Black man or Black woman who has an independent opinion that doesn't necessarily align with their agenda, that does not check all the boxes. And that's what they do. So again, go back to Hollywood. Has anybody noticed that most Black people in Hollywood speak from a script? When it comes to LGBT, they speak from a script. When it comes to immigration, legal, illegal, whatever, they speak from a script. When it comes to feminism, they speak from a script. Almost every single issue, it's script. And then when white liberals decide to change the narrative again, they'll be speaking from a different script. They take their cues from the white liberals. The white liberals tell them what to say and what they can and cannot believe. You go watch CNN, you listen to people like Angela Rye and others speaking from a script. Script came from white people. Right. So it is fine. I mean, if you're dumb enough to fall for that, right? If you're dumb enough to fall for their script, or if you're that much of a slave that you can't independently state what really matters to your community, that's okay. I just think we need to call it for what it is, because part of the reason that your community doesn't move forward part of the reason that your community sits still, part of the reason that the wealth gap has increased, part of the reason that you can drive through Southside Chicago or different parts of Philly or West Atlanta or whatever and still see entire Black communities that have been decimated and torn down is because your celebrities that you worship the most are too busy speaking from a script to actually say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done. I'm gonna tell you, last night I got real pissed off. It just hit me. It sparked up like a fire inside of me. I was watching this thing about Michael Jordan. I just ran across this YouTube video on Michael Jordan, and they were talking about all the things. It's not a hating on Michael Jordan because he ain't the only one. You know, you got a lot of people out here that do this, and they're like, Michael Jordan has a $50 million plane, and I'm like, damn, for $50 million, we could educate probably 100,000 Black children for that amount. And Michael Jordan has a fabulous collection of cars, including a $300,000 Bugatti, and he's got 20 of them, or he's had 30 Corvettes over there. Damn, for that amount of money, we could really make some transformation. We could go buy the block. You know, Michael Jordan has a $12 million mansion that he bought after he bought his $20 million mansion, and he still owns his $15 million mansion. I'm like, man, for that amount of money, we could really change. Like, we could go to Southside Chicago and just go start 50 businesses and employ hundreds of these young Black men that are unemployed right now. And so Michael Jordan owns a $20 million golf course so he can play golf all by himself without being disturbed. Damn, this motherfucker spent $20 million on a golf course just so he could play by himself? Do you know how many Black people's lives we could change if we took 20 million and created a bunch of businesses or went out and bought up entire city blocks so that we could, create housing for Black people? Or like really? I mean, and it made me just think about how many of our celebrities we have who have all this money and they burn this money in front of you. They making it rain in front of you. Drake goes out and buys a $187 million jet off of the money he made from an art form that he stole directly from you. Dre ain't hood. Dre's only half Black. But Drake, sorry, I said Dre. Drake, right? Drake ain't. I mean, I'm not saying Drake is a bad guy. I'm not hating on Drake, but I'm sitting there saying, shit. Like, do you have any standards in your community? Do you have any self-respect? To just say like, hey man, look, you spent 187, and then he got the nerve to brag about like, well, I like to go and make sure I support Canadian companies, Canadian businesses. And I'm like, did the Canadians invent hip hop, the music art form that you've used to make all this money? Did hip hop come out of Canada? Did it come out of Ontario or Montreal? Was it the rough streets of Montreal where they came up with hip hop in the 1970s, or did it come out of the South Bronx where the African American community lives? So my position is basic. I think, the Chappelle thing. First of all, I think the reason that I have admiration for Chappelle and what he did is the fact that he deviated from the script. He didn't come in there speaking the same nonsense that so many of your other celebrities are speaking. He wasn't disconnected the way a lot of your celebrities are. A lot of those celebrities, if you literally lined up a Jay-Z with 50 of his richest Black friends and said, okay, we're going to do just like the government did a bailout of Wall Street. We're going to do a bailout of the hood, just like they had the Marshall Plan that rebuilt Europe after World War II. We're going to have the Marshall Plan for the Black community, just like Roosevelt had the New Deal that saved white America with policies and billions in wealth. We're going to have the New Deal for Black people, except it's going to be the real deal. We're going to have the real deal where we're going to pick some hoods and we're going to go in there. We're going to gather up. We're going to raise, $250 million or more. And we're going to go in these hoods and we're going to start buying up buildings, buying up blocks, starting businesses, building schools, doing all kinds of things. Because it don't make no damn sense that you got celebrities out here that will go buy a $50 million jet but won't build a $1 million school. You got to understand that there must be a connection between your successful Black people in the Black community and the Black masses. And what I want to share, what I want you to kind of understand is that if you go listen to Malcolm X's speech about the house Negro and the field Negro, you'll realize that most of our celebrities, quite frankly, according to Malcolm's definition, are house Negroes, because the house Negroes are the ones who are good and comfortable. And the house Negroes like the status quo. The house Negroes are not going to revolt with you because they're living good. But the problem is that the majority of black people are the field Negroes. The majority of black people are not nice and warm and comfy in the house. They're out in the field. They're cold. They don't have enough to eat. They don't have enough to get by. So you have the millions of black people, millions of field Negroes who are somehow wired, trained by media. Media, that's why they call it programming. Black people watch more media than any other group of people. We watch more TV than everybody. We're programmed to worship the house Negroes and to say, woo woo, that rapper sure has a lot of money. He ain't doing nothing for you. He ain't doing nothing to try to help your community. He ain't doing nothing to change your life. But you somehow admire him because you saw him announce that I just bought a $5 million European car, right? You think that's a sign of success when that is actually a sign of extreme failure. That is poverty of the mind. That is a mental illness that he's displaying to you, and you're admiring a mental illness. You're admiring ignorance. You're not admiring vision. You're admiring complete, total ignorance because you've been trained to think that way. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button. If you're on Facebook, please share this to your page if you could. Also, if you're on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up button. Also, don't forget, we actually have a social media platform. If you ever want to back up to Facebook, because eventually they're gonna kick all the radical black people like me off Facebook anyway. So we created as a plan B. We have Black Enough, blackenough.com. So if you are black enough, join Black Enough. Black Enough is for a group for black people who are very black all the time, every day of the week, and twice on Sundays. So if that's who you are, go join at blackenough.com. It's totally free to join, and you can join the conversation there. It operates a lot like Facebook, except we're not going to ban you because you're too black or too radical. And also, don't forget the All Black National Convention happens the weekend of September 27th. If you want to learn more, it's going to be in Houston. Go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. So let me just say this. When it comes to Chappelle and the liberal reaction to Chappelle, I want y'all to pay very close attention. And I'm reading here on Newsweek that the rating for Chappelle's special, that it's actually improved. It was at 0. Now it went up to 17%. Now I think it's at 38%, which is still saying that it's pretty bad, but that's not true. That's not true at all. It's actually quite good. It's one of the best specials I've ever seen, and I've seen them all. I've seen Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence and Chris Rock and Chris Tucker and Def Comedy Jam and all that. And I like the Chappelle thing because he was really saying something. Like he really, was a guy who says, okay, I'm a comedian, and I'm gonna use the power of comedy to make points that are really going to help this country, not just help the black community, but actually help this country, because right now we're sort of trapped under the fascism of political correctness. We're sort of trapped under a lot of cyberbullying, a lot of racism, sort of disguised as allies that are working to make you better, when really they're socially engineering you. They're trying their best to use propaganda to control you. Right. And so because anytime you have a situation where somebody gets, people get attacked and canceled and basically hit with a lynch mob because they disagree with whatever the popular opinion is, that's not a free society. That you might as well go live with Kim Jong-un or somebody, because that's not how America is supposed to operate. And I'm really disappointed in our college campuses, because if you go to a lot of college campuses, you're seeing that kind of fascism on a regular basis. I don't know what kinds of professors out here or what kinds of campus presidents out here are okay with allowing students to march and ban somebody from coming to speak on campus, and literally saying you don't have a right to even open your mouth. You don't even have a right to talk. Like that's not cool. Smart people aren't supposed to do that. And what I actually admired about the president of the University of Chicago is actually he went out of his way to challenge that. He went out of his way and he said, look, on this campus, there ain't no fucking safe spaces. You're an intellect. If you have an idea and somebody challenges your idea, you defend your idea. You don't sit around like, oh, like I'm gonna attack everybody, and then when you come back at me, I'm gonna scream like, oh, you're attacking me because I'm gay, or because I'm a woman, or because I'm black. It's not fair. but you were attacking everybody else. You were telling everybody else, you're wrong, you're this, you're that, you need to shut up, you need to blah, blah, blah. And then when somebody comes back at you and says, wait, I don't agree with what you're saying right now, and I'm going to tell you why you're wrong, you want to act like a little baby. Like, seriously, I saw that there was somebody who was on my channel, who used to be on my YouTube channel, and I'm not gonna say the name. If y'all know the story, y'all probably know who I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna say no names. I'm not trying to start no fights. But I saw this person attack. I had to end that whole situation on my channel. I had to get this person off my channel because they went out of their way. They used my platform to attack Louis Farrakhan, right? And so I was like, damn, like you can disagree with Farrakhan, but you ain't got to dismantle the man. You ain't got to try to go out and publicly castrate him. Like this sounds personal to me. And so I remember that. So I tried to manage it. And I remember saying, okay, well, a lot of the brothers from the Nation of Islam now want to debate you. They're being very respectful because they understand how to respond in a productive way. So they're being very respectful, but they're very clear that they would like to have a public debate with you so you can discuss these issues, because there's a lot of misinformation about Louis Farrakhan out here that is designed to, try to undermine the progress that he's made. And I remember I called her and I said, okay, they just want to debate with you. I said, so why don't you come on and I'll bring a brother from the nation. You can have a debate. You all hash it out, and then people can make their own decision about how they feel. And she was like, no, I just don't feel comfortable. I feel because they're threatening me, and I'm like, they're threatening you. What did they say? Well, it's just very scary and very intimidating. I'm like, well, but you attack their leader. You attack somebody that they love. So of course they're going to respond to you. Like, what is this? Oh, wait, you were real bold and brave when you were attacking Farrakhan, but now you want to act like a victim, like, oh, I'm the woman and I'm a victim because they responded to your ass. Seriously, it's like the stupidest thing ever. It's like if I run up to Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and I run up to him and I'm talking shit, and I'm like, man, you can't do nothing to me. You ain't shit. You ain't nothing. Blah blah blah. And then he knocks the shit out of me. Like, I can't say, well, I'm a victim because it wasn't right for him to do that to me. But people be like, well, Boyce, but you talk shit to his face and you pushed him. And, like you pushed him, and that's why you got punched, right? So ultimately, what I would just say at the end of the day is that I'm a big fan of free speech. In case you don't know, on this channel, that's why I call this the place for intelligent Black people. It's because we don't do all that shit about, like, you have no right to speak. I'll deal with anybody's ideas. You present some shit. If I don't agree, I'm gonna just say, well, I love you, but what you just said was complete bullshit. But I think it's important to have an open dialogue, and that's what I loved about Chappelle's special, is that he's promoting an open dialogue. He's allowing people to say, hey, some of this stuff that's happening isn't making any sense. This LGBT bullying of everyone else is unfair. This way that we're dealing with a lot of these issues, the Me Too movement, there has a lot of elements that are unfair. And also, as a Black man, I felt like it was important because I'm seeing a lot of brothers going down unfairly in the Me Too movement when there's no due process, no evidence presented, nothing, and it's like, you can't go around locking people up with no evidence. Then you might as well go back to 1942 and hang out with Adolf Hitler, because you're sounding like a Nazi right now. You're sounding like a fascist right now. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? So anyway, those are my thoughts on it. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Don't forget, if you want to join Black Enough, here's the URL, blackenough.com. If you want to support intelligent Black media, you feel free to join our League of Intelligent Black People. You can go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. So in exchange for monthly support, we basically give you lots of free stuff and everything else with free access to things. So feel free to check it out at intelligentblackpeople.com. Last but not least, I'll be in Louisville on the 14th at the Diverse Entrepreneurship Summit. So feel free to go to drboycelouisville.com to learn more about that. It's in, I guess, 10 days from now, drboycelouisville.com. Also, I'll be in Houston for the All Black National Convention, September 27th. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. And then I'll be in New York doing a day-long investing seminar in New York. These seminars are really, really good. So if you like to hang out with other Black people that want to build and start businesses and invest in real estate, things like that, go to drboycenewyork.com. It's worth flying in. So if you live somewhere else, feel free to fly in. And then, of course, one more thing, in case you guys don't know, if you are interested in teaching financial literacy to your kids, we actually invented some financial workbooks and flashcards for Black children to teach them wealth. This is how I teach wealth to the kids in my house. So if you'd like to go check it out, feel free to go to financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe before you go. So I'm about to get out of here. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Peace.